The United States has a representation problem. The two main parties in the US are both suffering from it. You'll hear Democrat leaders saying things like,
But I think we're at a point now where these divides are so great that policy can't do it all by itself. It's really crucial to find ways to bridge the divide, and that's where deep, long-term organizing is so important.
and you can see right now how leaders in the Republican Party are tearing each other down because many of their party's planks, like releasing the Epstein files and dealing with the immigration problem, aren't being handled in a way that most Americans are happy with.
A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did.
I think if Noem looks at her body of work, I could not be. If I were in her position, I can't think of any point of pride over the last year. She's got to make her own decision, or the president does. But she has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own. We should own the issue of border security and immigration. But they have destroyed that for Republicans. Something that got the president elected, they have destroyed it through their incompetence.
There are two kinds of people in this world: people who put political issues into only two boxes, and everyone who lives outside the United States. The leaders from the Democrats and the Republicans are not suffering from messaging problems or infighting because of who they are. They're suffering from the two-party system. If we try to put every political issue into a left box and a right box, then we're going to end up with a very broken political system. There's a lot of political issues that have been dragging on for dozens of years across administrations from both major political parties that just won't get solved. I don't like playing the blame game, so I want to focus on something other than the politicians themselves: the systems the politicians have to use in order to get elected. Both the Republican and Democratic parties have been around for over 100 years. In that time, they've developed lots of systems for people to use in order to get elected under their banners. You have county organizations, state organizations, and national organizations that all form a hierarchy that a prospective politician can use in order to get their messaging out and play the political game. And to some extent, a Republican candidate for a position for Congress does have some level of choice for how they tailor their message to their state. The same goes for Democrats.
My agenda for Alaska will always be fish, family, and freedom.
The thing is, all that kind of falls apart after a politician gets into office. Yes, they may be able to propose a bill that affects their state, but generally, the federal government focuses on national issues, since that's what the federal government is for. That's why the platform of the National Republican Party or the National Democratic Party are things that are, of course, national. So our government already has politicians who have diverse opinions because that's how humans work. But if you take a random politician outside the US who has a strong opinion about gun ownership, their beliefs about that don't actually have anything to do with their opinions about abortion. But in the United States, when it comes to the national stage, they are presumed to. You have a constant messaging problem in the US for both political parties because people and culture are constantly changing, and the leaders in both parties have to constantly craft messaging to try to make sense of issues in such a way that can convince the most people to join one box or the other. While it might feel like it's not that hard to do, that's only because we've grown up in it so long that it feels normal. But it's not normal. It's taken decades to convince people to hop in each box and stay there. Presidential campaigns work quite a bit differently than Congress member campaigns. You'll find that the people who consider themselves independent voters are the ones that politicians are most eager to snatch, because they're who swing the votes and get them elected. Specifically, they focus on states where there are enough swing voters to make the states swing back and forth between the two political parties. So, we've got a presidential party system where the people who are the most loyal supporters in each party are neglected by their politicians so that the politicians can focus on the people who aren't as loyal, and those independents in the middle are left without true representation of their own. And the two-party system means Congress members have tools to tailor their campaign to their state, but once they get elected, they're under the thumb of the party leader. Can anyone be surprised that so many Americans are generally unhappy with their representation? How do we fix this? Well, I believe that I have the beginnings of a solution, but allow me to use a series to explain it. Peace.